Hello, everyone. Our topic for today is attitude, self-concept, values, and ethics. So in this chapter, we'll continue to focus on and develop intrapersonal skills that affect behavior, relationships, and performance. Included in the conversation will be attitudes, job satisfaction, self-concept, values, and personal morals and ethics. So attitudes is something that everyone has. An attitude is a strong belief or feeling toward people, things, and situations, and they can be positive or negative. They're shown by our behaviors, and we acquire them through life experiences and learning from others. But we need to clearly develop our own. Not quick judgments. We don't change them easily or quickly, but they can be changed. And your attitude is very important on the job and also in personal relationships. So your management attitudes. There's a self-assessment exercise in your text, 3-1. It'll be used to determine if you have a Theory X or Theory Y attitude. So management attitudes include Theory X, Theory Y, with respect to the self-assessment. So Theory X would be the belief that employees dislike work and must be closely supervised to get them to work. In other words, micromanagement. And these are attitudes that managers would have to employees. Theory Y would be the belief that employees like to work and don't need to be closely supervised to get them to work. In other words, they want to be there and they want to do good things. So autonomy. Your score. So a lower score, 10 to 19, would be Theory X. A higher score of 31 to 40 would indicate Theory Y. Medium score would be 20 to 30, would indicate balanced. So your job attitude. There's a self-assessment exercise, 3-2. Your job attitude, in terms of your score, a higher score would indicate more positive, while a lower score would indicate more negative. Ways to improve attitudes. So remember, a positive attitude is a major key to success. You want to be aware of your attitudes. Look for the good in things. Realize negativity is harmful. Harboring negative feelings hurts everyone around you. And try to keep an open mind. Listen to others. Use their input to boost your positive attitude. Changing attitudes. You can control your attitude and direct your life. We are what we think we are. It's difficult to change your own and even harder to change others, but it can be done. Helpful tips to improve others. Give feedback. Let people know when they are being negative. Accentuate the positive. Make sure people have what they need. Provide consequences, reward positive behavior, and be a positive role model. Practice what you preach. So what are you looking for? Go ahead and make a list of the top 10 items that you're looking for in a job that bring you the most job satisfaction, or bring you the most satisfaction for a job. Job satisfaction is the process of determining of attitudes toward work and the job environment. Satisfaction is what more people seek on the job over and above security or higher pay. Satisfied people stay longer, are absent less, and are generally happier and better workers. In terms of job satisfaction surveys, it's a good process of determining employee attitudes about the job and work environment. We currently see a decline in workers' dedication, attendance, and punctuality. Why do you think this is the case? So 7 things that make people satisfied with their jobs. The work itself. Do you think it's important, interesting, valuable to society? Pay and benefits. We need to feel valued. If we feel underpaid, it leads to negative behaviors. Today's issues of healthcare and retirement benefits play a role in satisfaction. Growth and upward mobility. Does it have a future? Does it provide challenges for growth? Supervision. Personal relationships with the boss, good or bad, can impact satisfaction. Coworkers, relationships with your coworkers. Do you like the people that you work with? Job security. During times of high unemployment, stress about being laid off can affect job satisfaction. And of course, the attitude toward the job. Is it something that you love and enjoy to do? In the U.S. and elsewhere, highest rates of satisfaction are found in professional and management positions and those in non-manual jobs with long-term contracts. Lower rates of satisfaction exist in manual labor jobs with short-term contracts or no contracts at all. Levels of satisfaction vary across cultures too, where you see an increased global competition can impact job satisfaction, and pushing employees to increase productivity can decrease satisfaction and have negative consequences on job performances. Another self-concept, your overall attitude about yourself. Questions to ask and answer. Do you like yourself? Do you think you are a valued person? Are you happy with the way you live your life? Do you believe you can meet the challenges in your life? Your thoughts and feelings about yourself influence your self-concept, and other people also influence your self-concept. Self-efficacy, so your belief in your capability to perform in a specific situation, along with self-fulfilling prophecy. This occurs when your expectations affect your success or failure. If you believe that you're going to fail to the point where you keep telling yourself that, you probably will. Attribution, one's perception that the cause of behavior is either internal or external. We do not really know the cause of someone's behavior, all we see is the result, the behavior. So building a positive self-concept, learning from mistakes. Everyone makes them, admit them, be accountable, and use them for your advantage. Accept and bounce back from failures. Don't dwell on negatives. Move on. Control negative emotions and thinking. You can't truly help what you feel, but you can control how you display them. And tap into your spirituality, whatever you perceive as your higher power. A 3-part action plan would include identify your strengths and areas that need improvement, set short-term and long-term goals and visualize them, and then develop a plan and implement it. There's a self-assessment exercise 3-3 on personal values. The higher the total in any area, the higher the value you place on it. So values are things that have worth or are important to the individual. Value system is the set of standards by which you live. Values are stronger and more stable than attitudes, and attitudes can change easier than deeply held values. Values tend to be a more widely held culturally belief. Spirituality in the workplace, well, seeing your work as a spiritual path, opportunity to grow and contribute in meaningful ways, and learning to be caring and compassionate toward others, having integrity, but it's very individual and it's a personal matter. Guidelines for leading from a spiritual perspective: know yourself, be self-aware and examine your reactions to situations. Act with authenticity, being yourself, not just playing a role or pretending. Respect and honor the beliefs of others, and don't impose your belief system on other people. Be as trusting as you possibly can, but listen to your inner voice. And maintain a spiritual practice. Most frequently mentioned practice is spending time in nature, but it can be whatever you designate it to be. Ethics. There is a self-assessment exercise 3-4. So ethics is the moral standard of right and wrong behavior. This instrument's designed only to make you more aware and get you thinking about your own ethical conduct and that of others around you. Higher scores indicate higher ethics, while lower scores indicate lower ethics. 98% of people stretch the limits of ethical behavior at times. Most people know right from wrong. So why do people do unethical things sometimes? Do individual ethics affect whole organizations, and if so, how? Moral development, understanding right from wrong, and choosing to do the right thing. The ability to make ethical choices is related to our level of moral development. Kohlberg had 3 levels of moral development, including pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional. Pre-conventional is a childlike understanding. It includes reward and punishment, self-interest oriented, getting what you need but by following rules, being obedient to authority to avoid punishment. In other words, what's in it for me, or fear-based behaviors. Conventional would be most people are at this level as adults, so interpersonal accord and conformity, doing what the majority does and following the norms of your culture. adhering to authority and maintaining social order. Post-conventional, there's only 20% of people reach this stage. Social contract orientation and universal ethical principles, following one's own belief in right or wrong despite what culture or law condones, sometimes at the risk of social rejection, monetary loss, physical punishment. So, situation for ethics is relevant. Ethics and morals do not occur in a vacuum. Increased unethical conduct occurs in situations that are highly competitive and unsupervised, where there's a lack of a clear code of conduct, a lack of punishment for violations, and get rewarded for violations, or if the violation is perceived as minor, or if a friend is the offender. With the Heinz dilemma, so a woman was near death from a special kind of cancer. There was one drug that the doctors thought might save her. It was a form of radium that a druggist in the same town had recently discovered. The drug was expensive to make, but the druggist was charging 10 times what the drug cost him to produce. He paid $200 for the radium and charged $2,000 for a small dose of the drug. The sick woman's husband, Heinz, went to everyone he knew to borrow the money, but he could only get together about $1,000, which was only half the cost. He told the druggist that his wife was dying and asked him to sell it cheaper or let him pay later. But the druggist said, "No, I discovered the drug and I'm going to make money from it." So Heinz got desperate and broke into the man's lab to steal the drug for his wife. The question is, should Heinz have broken into the lab to steal the drug for his wife? Why or why not? So, justifying unethical behavior. There's a moral justification. Terrorists believe they're doing the right thing. Displacement of responsibility. Only following orders, soldiers taking orders. Diffusion of responsibility. Well, if the whole group is doing it. Advantageous comparison. Well, there's always someone doing something worse. Disregard or distortion of consequences. Minimizing the harm done and feeling you won't get punished. Attribution of blame. That other person made me do it. Euphemistic labeling. Using cosmetic words to make something ugly and sound acceptable. A guide to being ethical. We have the golden rule, do unto others. Stakeholders approach, it's a win-win for all involved. Four-way test, is it the truth? Is it fair to all? Will it build good relationships? Will it benefit all involved? Discernment and advice, refer to guidelines and advice from those with high standards. An application of ethical guides, make it a habit to do what is right in all situations. Global ethics. So globalization presents challenges to multinational corporations. Different countries have different levels and standards of ethical behaviors. Relativism has to do with decisions made based on the standard of that country. Some countries think bribes are okay, and this is common practice. Universalism is one standard fits all approach. There is a self-assessment in Chapter 3-5. It's important to help you understand how your attitudes, job satisfaction, self-concept, and values all come together to construct your ethical behavior.